Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, well, I don't blame you. You can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com, and this is the first example I have seen of the Baselworld 2018 Patek Philippe 5270P-001. It is the first platinum 5270 since the model line debuted back in 2011, and some have speculated this may be the run-out model along with the rose gold 5270 on full bracelet. So the watch on my wrist is going to be a rarity. It is an application piece, and it may be the last and best of the breed. The timepiece, 41mm in platinum 950. It's more substantial, both in its look with that spectacular salmon dial and in its feel with that platinum case and clasp than any previous 5270. The watch is broad, not excessively large. As you can see on my 16cm circumference wrist, it wears naturally enough with a lug-to-lug spacing of 49.6, large by Patek standards, but not objectively very large. It's not an oversized watch, it's a full-sized watch. Fairly slim at 12.8mm thick. You can see it has a stepped and sloped case flank, and the spacing between the lugs a broad 21mm, so substantial. It also has a sizable and broad footing on the wrist to make it look proportional and properly seated. The case is simple and strong, and the same can be said of the strap, as the strap is thin, unbolstered, large rectangular scale alligator leather, as you can see in detail, with a semi-gloss finish, monotone stitch, a folded edge, calfskin on the underside. This is a new Patek Philippe factory strap, as you can see, and it's matched with a full platinum clasp. For security on the wrist, a filigree style wire Calatrava cross, internally olive high polish, platinum 950 to match the watch, giving you security as well as a little bit of a keel-like counterweight. If you like to wear your watch loose, this one's not going to move around. The dial is the highlight, but the case should not be overlooked. It features a number of details that give strength and character to the watch. Note the top Wesselton diamond, brilliant cut between the lugs, the modern signature of a Patek Philippe platinum watch. The lugs are generously stepped out from the case, and you'll note not only are they stepped out from the case, but they feature fluted profiles, so each in its own right has a complex sculptural beauty. There's a step up from the mid case to the conical bezel, and it has one more upward kick as it abuts the sapphire. Moving from the sapphire to the dial, you can see the business end of this watch. Most Patek watches are about their movement, and this one would be no exception if it weren't for the best dial on any Patek Philippe since the 5235 of 2011. It is salmon. It is not cloyingly pink, as it often looks online in some of the detail photos. It's more sophisticated. It is somewhere between gold and rose, and that's probably the best way to describe it. And it's a matte metallic. It's not a sunburst. It doesn't explode. It glows warmly. There's a black on salmon printing for reasonably high contrast. You can see the tachymeter scale outboard. The chin has been abated somewhat. This is the 2015 to present iteration of the so-called chin, whereby the date and the tachymeter scale overlap somewhat. It's a neat resolution of this long-running debate that I happen to find quite attractive, because this always felt like a sporty reference to me, and for the sake of tradition, it does need that tack outboard. The numerals themselves, as well as the indices on the lower half of the dial, are blackened gold, and you can see blackened gold for the foy-style leaf hands, as well as the counterweighted lancet-style seconds hand. You have a leap year phase indicator down by 430, and you can see we're in 3, that's 2019. Next year will be the leap year. You can see that there is an AM PM that acts as your danger zone indicator, so you know when not to set the perpetual calendar with the case flank pusher adjusters. There's a coaxial moon phase with a midnight blue cosmos, and then a radial date ringing it. You can see stepped apertures to ease the plane of the dial down to the white with black on white printing for the day as well as the month. So it's a complex calendar. It's also a chronograph with chronograph seconds. You have chronograph minutes, and you have constant seconds. You do not have an hours register, so this will be your chronograph for timing relatively short intervals. Now turn it all over. I'm going to show you one of my favorite features of this caliber, which is the instantaneous minute jumper. Now I bring everything back underway. It's a rack and snail system that instantaneously jumps the minute at the turn of the minute. Now the movement, technically, A manufacturer caliber. We've long bid farewell to the old Lemagnas. This is Patek Philippe manufacturer caliber CH29535 PSQ. Petite Seconde, it is a quantième Perpetual. That's the Q. Adjusted in 6 positions like a chronometer with a high beat rate compared to its predecessor, 28,800 vibrations per hour, column wheel actuation by black polished and capped column wheel, full lateral clutch and fully jeweled lateral clutch, no bushings here. 65-hour power reserve. You'll note not only is it adjusted in 6 positions, but it is free sprung with a gyromax style balance as invented by Patek Philippe in the middle of the last century. It features an overcoil hairspring. The premier Patek Philippe watches still use ferrous overcoils made by hand, so they can keep excellent time in any orientation with respect to gravity. Now, of course, you have that column wheel function adjuster, which allows you to see everything in action and feel it. The column wheel remarkably crisp. You can see the lateral clutch moving into and out of contact with the driving center wheel of the system. And the nice thing about a lateral clutch is it lets you see absolutely everything. Nothing is obscured. You could see when I bring it into contact, it drives. When I bring it out of contact, I can then use the reset to drop the recentering hammers on the heart cams at center. It betrays everything, every detail of its construction, and every refinement of its finishing pulchritude. You could see mirrored anglage, not just on the edges of the bridge, but perfectly rounded hand-laid chamfer, mirror smooth on the edge of the lateral clutch and the chronograph levers. Every screw had black polished with a chamfered slot and a chamfered outer circumference. Micro perlage across the base plate, and you will note perfectly aligned Côte de Genève across the minimalist bridges. This is finished to the nth degree and then some. As beautiful on the back as it is on the front, nevertheless, it is the salmon dial of this watch that makes it so remarkable. Folks are already comparing it to the short-lived Patek Philippe 5970P, built from 2009 to 2010. The Platinum 5970 was the last, and some might have said the greatest, certainly one of the scarcest and most sought of the previous generation Patek Philippe Perpetual calendar chronograph, and I would not be shocked if this salmon dial wonder follows in its lug steps. See this and make it yours on the Watchbox.